Now, Jimmy Savile, I saw you quoted, perhaps inaccurately, that psychiatrists should be burned. Why did you agree to this interview?
Because I agree to everything. I might have done a lot and I might have learned a lot, but I still haven't learnt to say no yet.
You find that very difficult?
Yes, very difficult, yes. Yes, I actually get enthusiastic over things because if somebody comes to me with a problem, I finish up getting far more enthusiastic over their problem than they do, and it's a terrible habit. And it involves you in monumental problems yourself. The only problems I ever get, personally, are other people's. I don't have any of my own.
Is it related to a fear of hurting other people?
No.
That by saying no?
Nope. No. It's a straightforward interest. I've tried to analyse it, and it could be, for instance, that maybe I'm not clever enough to have problems. My mind doesn't allow problems to lurk in my head. So if somebody else comes to me with one, it could be the fact that it might be intriguing.
Does the fact that you feel you have no problems mean that you're a happy man?
Oh, totally. Yeah, totally.
Do you ever get depressed?
Not really, no, not really.
Are you, because you apparently never get depressed, does it intrigue you that other people get depressed? Or is it understandable to you? Do you understand why others would get low?
It intrigues me, but not to the point where I want to know why they get depressed. Whereas some people are interested in Georgian silver and some people are interested in butterflies, I was always interested in people. So it would appear, I don't know, but it would appear that people finished up almost as a hobby.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah.
It sounds as if you were a happy child.
Well, I wasn't unhappy because we didn't have anything. And if you didn't have anything and you weren't expecting anything, I've tried to analyse my childhood and wonder why, when one had nothing and one expected nothing, did that mean that one was happier? And I think it's for somebody else.
What was your father like?
The old man, he was marvellous. He was marvellous. My only regret, one of my few regrets, is that he never lived long enough to see a few of my quid. The Duchess had 16 years of plenty of money.
What age were you when he died?
Oh, I don't know. About, I should think in 20s maybe.
How close were you to him?
As close as you could be. At that age, you don't understand closeness. No. You don't understand closeness. You only understand closeness when you haven't got it. Mm. We had, looking back, a terrific relationship. He demanded nothing from me. I demanded nothing at all from him. We didn't know any different. And it was a perfectly contented sort of home.
Were there things about him that remind you now of yourself?
Not really, except he was a fella, I'm a fella.
Other than that.
But I'm a pirate. He was never a pirate. He was too honest.
What do you mean, a pirate?
Well, I'm a pirate. I mean, he was honest. He was lovely. He had a job, and he went and stuck to it, and he...
Aren't you honest?
No, I'm dishonest in inverted commas, insofar as I'm a ducker and diver. And if I see an opportunity of getting something by only going halfway round the course, I'll do it.
Are you a gambler?
No. I'm not, no gambler, no stocks, no shares, no nothing. What I've got, nobody else ever sees. It never sees the light of day. If I pulled a £10 note out now, the Queen's eyes would blink against the light. Because nobody ever sees what I've got. It's gone for all time.
Nonetheless, that isn't to suggest for a minute that you don't like it, or you quite like, I take it, the trappings that go with fame, the money, the Rolls Royces.
Oh, I love it, it. If I say they don't bother me, they actually don't bother me. I got a Rolls Royce initially because I realised that in my line of business that I'd chosen, which was a flash game, a posing game, a candy floss game, a phenomenon.
The disc jockey game.
Well, the pot business, it was total phenomenon, total candy floss. And I realised that if I had a Rolls Royce, that it would make a difference. And it did, because I lived in Yorkshire, I lived in Leeds. When I came to London for the Radio Luxembourg thing, I was introduced as, this is Jimmy Savile from Leeds, he has a Rolls. And that made all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
You see, and on the occasion I used to drive down in it, it made a tremendous difference. So I saw that as a tool of the trade, purely and simply.
Did you enjoy the Rolls Royce?
Loved it.
You enjoyed sitting in it and driving
big posing job. But I used to enjoy...
you have Rolls Royce now?
I've had 17 new ones.
What's so important about a new one?
Well, because my theory is that in my game, you see, your qualifications will last you till your last breath. I'm still in a phenomenon business. I can go skint in a day. I can be finished like that. If a scandal comes up or something like that, or the people go off you, you're finished. I'd much rather go skint with a brand new Rolls Royce in the garage than one that's 8 years old that I love, because I'll get more for it. So the day that I get finished by some whatever, then the bits and pieces that I've got, I make sure that they're all paid up and they're all brand new, because I could then go and be very unhappy in the south of France, covered in shame and sunshine and mad birds with bikinis on for a long time, because there was a new Rolls Royce there and a new this and a new that and new. So I am all terribly, terribly logical, which is actually bad news for you guys, because common sense and logic don't leave you a lot to find out.
No, we're much more interested in feelings, emotions.
Yeah, right, emotions, I haven't got any. I'm an oddity because I'm not here for treatment.
No.
So because I have got awesome common sense, and my common sense obviously works because it's worked for me, that would make me bad news from a psychiatrist or a psychologist, because there's nothing to find. What you see is what there is. So that's why I said that I'm bad news for somebody like you. God forbid I should have a problem and I have to come and see you with a problem. Then I'll be the same as everybody else.
But the thing that tends to get us into difficulties are our feelings.
Oh, aye.
They cannot be predicted or controlled.
No, because you see, feelings are not logic as such. And feelings can come out of a box inside you anywhere. I mean, it can suddenly pop out. I mean, if you have a tendency to violence, for instance.
Now, what about your feelings?
I haven't found them yet.
Seriously?
No.
What about the feelings you had for your mother, the Duchess?
The Duchess?
Yes.
Yeah, well, that was something, because I actually enjoyed the Duchess. I didn't enjoy it in the early days, because you have to learn to enjoy your parents, you see.
Well, what was she like in the early days?
She was all right, but obviously she would tell you to do things and you didn't particularly want to do them. And she'd say, I'm putting your board up next week, and I'd think that was terribly unfair, and all those usual sort of little things. But eventually, when I came into a few quid, and I suddenly realised that I could actually have a better time teaming her about with me than I could teaming a girl about with me, because a girl can give me brain damage.
Why?
Well, because a girl would be a different kettle of fish, because a girl is much more of a partnership, as against the Duchess brought me up for the first part of my life, and I brought up her up for the second part of her life.
A girl too would have expectations of you.
I'm the faintest idea.
Well, would make demands.
Oh, I don't know. I don't mind them making demands on me. You, yeah. Ladies can demand me anytime.
Well, one of the demands they might make is that your life would be changed, that you couldn't be a pirate.
Really?
I'm asking you.
I don't know. I'm not a girl. I can't tell you. You'd have to ask a girl about what she wants.
Nonetheless, you've never had one for any length of time.
Oh, yeah. Some of the girls I know now, I've known 30, 40 years. And some of them I've known 30, 40 minutes.
But you've never married.
Oh, no. Oh, good heavens. I couldn't do that.
Why not?
Well, why not? I mean, all right, I'll reverse it. You give me a good reason for getting married.
Well, people get married because they're in love.
Really?
Yeah.
Marvellous.
But have you been?
Never.
Never in love?
No. I don't know what it is.
I suppose the best definition is that the person you're in love with, if she goes away, you miss her.
Yeah.
And want her back.
Not if you're a pirate, because there's plenty where you're going.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened to you?
No. Not yet.
You want you take it or leave it?
Sure.
What do you think you had for your mother? Was that love?
No. You see, the word love, it's only one word in the English language, love. In the Greek, there are about 57 words meaning love. In the Greek, there's the love of a tree, there's the love of a lake, love of a drink, love of food. It's a different word, and that's why the old saying, the Greeks have a word for it. Now, the word that leaves your mouth, which is love, in the meaning in your brain is not necessarily the meaning in my brain when I catch the ball that you've just thrown to me, you see, because we have only one word. I will try to help, and I will say that I know what you're saying in relation to love and marriage, but I'm saying that particular route, it wasn't one that attracted me, and I'm quite happy that up to press everything's okay, and I don't see it no big deal that I didn't ever get wed.
What about children?
Yeah, I couldn't eat a whole one.
Do you like...
Could not eat a
Do
whole
you like
one.
children?
Hate them.
Really, seriously?
Well, that's why I get on well with them, because I don't like them all that much.
Hmm.
No, with me, a kid with me is on trial. Like I'm on trial with a kid. You know what I mean? If you come to a kid and you want to impress the kid, you've got a tough job on. So the kid's on trial with me. So it's like a standoff. Now, instinctively, the kid knows that I ain't like some yucky adult that says, my, don't you look smart today? Or any crap like that. You know what I mean? I'll say, hello, here I am with this TV show called Jim Will Fix It, and you're on it, so therefore you have to earn the right to be on it. Answer me question. And the kid will answer me question, and we get on like a house afire, but there's no yucky nonsense about it.
No.
And I've got no paternal feelings.
No.
So if you said to me, what do I love about kids? I say, basically, I don't think I like them particularly, but I get on well with them. Nothing wrong with that, is there?
No, not a thing. No.
Yeah, halfway through, I mean to say, from what you've been talking, am I weird or am I ordinary? What?
Do people think you are weird? Do you think people think you are weird?
Well, I suppose it's rather like if you got 5 people on a panel to judge the Miss World competition, them 5 judges give you a 1, 2, 3. If you got 5 other people, totally different people, they'd give you a different 1, 2, 3, probably. It's in the eye of the beholder.
This interest you have, this enormous interest you have in charity, the amounts of money you've raised in charity.
May I correct you? I haven't really got an interest in charity. Not really.
Raising money, I should say, for all sorts of causes.
Not
Stoke
really.
Mandeville.
It's just that I've got a knack. I think you're putting the cart before the horse there, because I've got a knack for raising money or making money. Now, I don't really care whether I make it...
You don't just make it for
No,
yourself.
I don't care whether I make it for me or somebody else. It's academic to me, as long as I'm having a go at making it.
So, the way you describe yourself, an awful lot of your life is as a result of things happening to you. You don't necessarily initiate these things.
I've never initiated anything. To my knowledge, I've never ever initiated anything at all in my life. Do you know I've never asked for a job in my life, ever? Never. I'm on my own business. The phone goes, or I get a letter, bingo, I'm off again.
So, you're a man who tends to say yes, finds it difficult to say no.
Unfortunately, yes.
What if a woman asked you to marry her?
I would find it very easy to say no.
That's not a problem. You
Not
once
whatsoever.
described yourself as an archetypal single man.
Yes.
What would you say are the
I'm
features?
not quite sure what archetypal means, but it
That's right,
sounded
you said
okay.
it.
Yes.
What would you say are your features? What makes you ideal as a single man?
Because I like being on my own. I like climbing into bed on my own, and I like being able to do exactly what I want to do when I want to do it. So I just breeze along, and all I have to make sure is I'm not turning into a pain in the arse or smug to people or anything like that.
Are you ever distressed?
Only when I see how unfortunate life can be for some other poor sod who doesn't deserve what life deals out to him. But, hang on, I don't know that tomorrow isn't my turn.
When your mother's turn came, was that expected or unexpected?
What, when she died?
Yeah.
Oh, totally unexpected. She taught me a great lesson in dying. When she decided to die, she did it all in 20 minutes. And in 20 minutes, she gave the great honour of dying to one of my sisters. She happened to be in one of my sister's house for the weekend. And she said, get a priest and a doctor. So this was like, they were just going to bed, you see. And my sister said, what? She said, get a priest and a doctor. So the Duchess said, you did. So she got a priest and a doctor there and then. Within 20 minutes they were around, because my sister flapped a bit to think that maybe, things weren't right. And the priest come round, the doctor come round. It was almost scripted. And she pegged it in 20 minutes. And so for me, apart from it being a disaster, but one of those inevitable disasters that had to come, so I was half ready for it, even though there were no signs of it.
She hadn't been ill.
No, she hadn't been ill at all.
There was an interesting reference to you and the death of your mother. I saw somewhere that you said the 5 days that you spent with her after she was dead were the happiest days of your life. Now, that may have been a misquote. I don't know.
Yeah. Words are clumsy things. As you well know, you're in the game where people give you words and you have to analyse not what they said but what they mean. So therefore, in this particular case, she was gone. I accepted she was gone. She was in heaven. That was marvellous. She had no worries now. Tremendous. She wasn't a burden to anybody like she was worried about. Everything's marvellous. Okay? So if she was happy, I was happy. We hadn't put her away yet, and there she was, lying around. So to me, they were good times. Once upon a time, I had to share it with a lot of people. We had marvellous times, but when she was dead, she was all mine, for me. So therefore, it finished up right, you understand? And then we buried her, and that was that. That's the end of that. And one day, according to one's faith, my faith, being a Catholic lad, there apparently, I'm told, is a strong chance that we all meet up again. Well, that'll do for me, but I had to take a few quid with me, because she was always boning me for a few quid, because she was a pirate as well. I turned her into a pirate.
Was she?
She invented ghost payrolling. Do you know what ghost payrolling is? Ghost payrolling is creating people that don't exist, that she pays, but they don't exist, and I pay her.
I see.
But she didn't pay anybody. It's called ghost payrolling.
She was like you, was she?
No, she wasn't to start with, but I made her like me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I brought her up for the second half of her life, and I turned her into a pirate. She was the country's only 86-year-old female gangster.
Would it be true to say that you have no close personal relationship with anyone? Does anybody really know you very well?
You've been in the business, you tell me.
But in your judgment, do you think...
In my judgment...
Would you know... Is there somebody you'd say, he or she knows me very well?
Well, I say what you see is what there is. Now, if what there is acceptable, so be it. If it's boring, so be it. I can't help it, because what there is what there is.
So what you see, what I see, is what you are.
Yes.
And in that sense, everybody who sees you knows you, as much as they're ever likely to know you.
But they know me very well, because that's all there is to know. I mean, I don't go away from here and indulge in some wild fetishes or wild weirdo things or anything like that. I mean, if you turn my stone over, there ain't nothing underneath it. It's probably a boring stone. For somebody like you that wants to find things out about people, what you're seeing is actually what there is, full stop.
So here, the moral of this story is that if we search for something inside you, we will not find anything.
You've got to tell me. That's your game. I don't know. All I know is what I know. I mean, you tell me. I mean, I said to you, am I weird? You've got to tell me. I don't think I am. But I mean, you're a specialist at your game, and you could say, you are the most weird person I've ever seen. I'd say, terrific. I'll get up and stick a cigar in my face, go out, jump in the Rolls Royce and bugger off.
Well, I am intrigued, yes.
Oh.
Let me ask you.
Yes.
And I'll tell you why I'm so interested in this area in a minute. It's not to do with sex so much as love.
Yes.
Has anybody fallen in love with you?
You better ask them.
No, I've got to ask you.
All right.
Why do you say I better ask them? I mean, somebody would have said it to you. Would have said, Jimmy, I love you.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people. A lot of ladies.
Okay.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. That's their problem, not mine.
Yeah, I know. Give me a chance. I want to take one step further.
Right,
We've got that established.
Okay, right.
Now, one or two of them would want it to go further than that. I don't just mean sexual.
Plenty of them.
I mean in terms of a relationship.
Yes, of course they do.
Wanting you to spend more time with them.
Yes.
Wanting you to do the things you do, but to do them with them.
Terrific. Nothing wrong with that.
No, what is it that stops you there? That's where you do say no.
No, because that's not my game. That's not my lifestyle.
That's it.
Yeah.
You do what you want to do.
Yeah. I start off minding my own business. If anybody swings into my lifestyle and they want me to change, they've had it because I won't, because I can't.
Yeah.
So they have to swim out again. Or stand from me. What you see is what there is.
Yeah.
One of the great problems of human relationships, which you will probably agree with me, is that either one or the other of the parties wants the other party to change. Now, I don't mean compromise, and I don't mean all those things. I mean actually change, and it don't work out.
Right.
No.
When you say what you see is what there is,
Yeah.
you could say that in several ways. You could say, I mean, a depressed person would say, what you see is what there is, and God damn it doesn't amount to much.
Ah, well, now then.
And some rather grandiose person would say,
Yeah.
what you see is what there is, and it's bloody good, mate.
Oh, no. No. Both of those, I would feel sorry for both of those people.
That's right. Now, you're saying, what there is
What there is
what you see. What you see is what there is.
Right, and so therefore that means to say that if you say I have confidence, all I'm doing is accepting.
It's good enough for you.
Right. Let's take it something that will make the listeners easy to understand. I grew up in a phenomenal business called the pop business that was awash with booze and drugs. It never occurred to me to try either, because I'm teetotal and I wouldn't even know what a drug looked like if I fell over it, right? because I was totally clear in my own mind that that wasn't my game. So because it wasn't my game, I wasn't even tempted to have even a little dabble at it. As it happens, I could see the terrible effects of what happened to people who did have a dabble at it, and I thought that was, from where I stood, quite stupid. But I didn't know what caused them to have a go at drugs or booze or whatever, so let them get on with it. You understand? It was nothing to do with me. But I was right in the middle. I invented the disco game, but it never occurred to me to go down the road of being stupid and foolish about it. Now, if that's confidence from where you sit, so be it. I call it common sense.
Yeah. Okay. I would then guess, but you'll say, well, maybe not. I don't know. I would guess that being the youngest of the 7, in your case, it gave you a certain space, a certain independence. There was a lot going on in your family, but kids in a large family, one of the advantages sometimes is that they can hide themselves a bit. They can be much more independent because there's a lot of other people.
Looking back, 100% correct.
Yeah.
Nobody took any notice of me.
But also you seem to have had, from very early on, as you describe it now, a sense of confidence in yourself.
Sure, maybe I wasn't clever enough to be in trouble.
How clever were you? Have you any
Academically,
measure?
I went to a school where we didn't have exams. I went to a thing called an elementary school.
Yeah.
You went in at 4, came out at 14, there were no exams. You just moved up a
Right.
class a year because you grew out of the desk.
But you know that cleverness also refers to an innate ability to think and do and so on.
Yeah.
And I saw somewhere, in fact it recurs in a lot of cuttings about you, an IQ figure, which suggests that actually you do know that you're a damn clever man because it's a high figure.
Ah, no,
I don't know
no.
that's true,
It's
of
the
course,
clarity. No, clever, no.
Intelligent.
Being a Mensa, a member of Mensa, and I'm only a member of Mensa again because I was doing a programme with Mensa people. They liked the programme that I did with them, and they said, we want to make you an honorary member. And I said, I don't get honorary anything. I don't take honorary anything, mate.
I mean, I can't make you an honorary member of the Royal College of Psychiatrists. You're going to train the whole way through.
So therefore, I said, I'll go in for the exam, but clip my name off the top. And if the assessors don't pass it, I never took the exam in the first place. That's the shrewd part of it, because I wouldn't have the newspaper say he is thick. You understand? I don't care if I'm thick, but it wasn't in my interests. It'd be known, and so they did. So they photocopied my exam thing, clipped the top off, and sent it to 2 assessors. One gave me 150, one gave me 151. It was 148 was the pass. So suddenly I was a member of Mensa. Now, all that is, it's not so much what you know; it's how clearly you think.
But you've said several times to me that maybe you aren't clever enough to have problems.
Could be. I don't know.
What do you mean by... Is that because you associate cleverness with having problems? Do you think that, in fact, clever people do tend to have
I
problems?
know a lot of professional people that have topped themselves. I know a lot of people in your game that have topped themselves. Now then, your game is what I call the brain game. And if they can organise other people's brains, but they can't organise their own, and they top themselves up against a banister or something like that, well, it means there must be something wrong. So therefore, my simplicity said that maybe they were too clever. Maybe they could see things I can't see. I don't see problems. Maybe they could see problems.
Has anybody ever said that you're an unimaginative sort of chap?
No, but I mean, you can. It'll make no difference to me if you say I'm unimaginative.
No.
It'll make no difference at all.
In fact, actually, in truth, Jimmy, nothing I would say would make any difference to you.
Well, no, because you're a human being, you see, and it's your opinion. All I know is that after today, I've got to go and do my thing in the world tomorrow. Question number 1, am I doing my thing at the cost of somebody else? Answer, no. Am I doing my thing and getting plenty? Answer, yes. What am I doing with the plenty? Am I trying to put it about a little bit, including not so much what I've got as much what time I've got? Answer, yes. Why do I put it about a little bit? I put it about a bit because obviously the good Lord has seen to it that I'm a bit lucky, right, for his own reasons, why I don't know. Now, if I'm a bit lucky, I don't see any reason why I shouldn't spread it about a bit, maybe, and make somebody else a bit lucky. Some poor sod who's down the road, who for no fault of their own is finding it a bit hard, if I can give him a lift, that's what, it's not yucky. You know, it's not do-goody, it's none of that crap game. But it's nice, simple stuff, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's a very simplistic way of going on. Maybe one of my problems for somebody like yourself is that I'm far too simple.
I mean, of the many things that you are, what would hurt you most if you lost it or if it was taken away from you?
Oh, freedom.
freedom.
Freedom, yeah. I've got the freedom to do pretty well anything now, including being bored, or being alone, or being with people, or getting things. I suppose if I didn't have that, I would only see that as a temporary setback, because somewhere my inventiveness is such that if I had everything taken away from me now, it wouldn't be long before I got it back again.
Yeah.
I've been skint once, and I'm not skint now, but I ain't going to be skint no more.
But freedom is important.
Well, freedom. I'm trying to answer your question.
And you move quite a bit around. You're a mobile man. You don't put down roots necessarily.
No, not really.
No,
No,
you don't
not
carry
really.
much baggage.
No, I've got a shoulder bag that's not been unpacked for nearly 30 years. It's a different bag when it wears out, but I mean, I never unpack completely anything anywhere, because I don't usually sleep in the same bed more than 2 nights running, because there's no point in it. I wander around like I sail the country.
Again, it makes you unusual, and therefore I know listeners will wonder. I'm wondering really, what is it like to be someone who can say, as you did, very commonsensically now, it's no criticism of what you said, I'm really free, I could almost do anything. That lots of poor sods, including me, struggling away, we wonder, one day if I were, I don't know, free enough, what would I do? You are free enough. What?
Let me tell you something.
What do you do?
Right.
What is it that really gives you a kick?
Right, you're not in that world, so therefore you don't know. You are constrained by certain things. I'm not in your world. I'm not constrained pretty well by anything. The tough thing in life is ultimate freedom. That's when the battle starts. Ultimate freedom is what it's all about, because you've got to be very strong to stand for ultimate freedom. Ask anybody who's ever won the pools, and they'll say that their lives may have been better to a sense, but they were far more complicated. Right? Take any pop star who was nothing one day and suddenly was somebody with plenty of money the next day. It was marvellous for them, but it wasn't half complicated from what life used to be. Right? Ultimate freedom is the big challenge. Now, I've got it, and I can tell you there's not many of us that have got ultimate freedom. With doing the things that I do, wearing the caps that I wear, I've got some considerable clout as well all over. That is where the personal battle starts. Now, I would like to think that I've beaten that, because I don't use my clout or coin or whatever for bad purposes. I prefer not to use them for any purposes, but if anybody asks, then I can then produce an answer very often. So that's where the battle is now. Ultimate freedom is what I should think from you tell me, from a psychologist's point of view, ultimate freedom is what everybody would try to hope for eventually. And I've got news for you. It's like winning the pools. When you get it, you've got to be very strong to handle it. I like to think if I actually said that I'm very strong, well, only because I've managed to handle complete and ultimate, utter freedom. It's marvellous, but it's dangerous.
And given this issue of ultimate freedom, there's nothing therefore that you want that you haven't got.
No, I've got everything. Ask me what I've got left in life.
What have you got left in life?
To wake up tomorrow. Because if tomorrow is as good as today, that'll do for me.